Life will challenge you. You will encounter setbacks, disappointments, and moments when everything seems to be working against you. That's inevitable. But the real question is, how will you respond? Will you allow difficulties to break you, or will you use them to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? People with mental toughness don't collapse under pressure. They don't let fear, doubt, or negativity dictate their actions. Instead, they cultivate a mindset that enables them to approach life with clarity, confidence, and inner stability. This isn't about pretending that life is easy. It's about mastering yourself so that no matter what happens, you remain steady. The ancient Stoics understood this better than most. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, reminded himself daily that life is unpredictable, that hardship is unavoidable, but that his response was always within his control. He knew that true strength isn't about avoiding struggles. It's about training your mind to rise above them. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. 6 key habits that set the mentally strong apart. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical, battle-tested principles that you can start using immediately to build an unshakable mindset. So stay with me until the end because each point is essential. Skipping any part might mean missing the one insight that could completely shift your perspective. Before we start, if you find value in this, take a moment to support the channel. Hit that subscribe button. It's a small action that helps us continue bringing you meaningful content. Nothing in life stays the same. Seasons shift, people come and go, circumstances evolve. Yet many of us resist change as if holding on to the familiar will somehow keep things from shifting. But let me ask you, has clinging to the past ever made transitions easier, or has it only caused more struggle? We fear change because it disrupts our routines, challenges our sense of control, and forces us into the unknown. But here's the truth. Change itself isn't the problem. The real issue is our resistance to it. The more we fight against reality, the more we suffer. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't waste energy wishing things were different. Instead, they trained themselves to adapt, to see every shift in life as an opportunity rather than a setback. Marcus Aurelius led an empire through war, plague, and betrayal. He could have asked, "Why is this happening to me?" But instead, he reminded himself, what stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacles we fear often hold the key to our growth. When we stop resisting change and instead learn from it, we become stronger and more capable. Think about a time when life forced you to adapt, maybe a job loss, a breakup, or an unexpected move. It was difficult, but looking back, didn't it shape you into who you are today? The problem is, we usually recognize the value of change only in hindsight. But what if we could shift our perspective while we're going through it? What if, instead of resisting, we asked, what is this teaching me? How can I use this to my advantage? The Stoics had a phrase, amor fati, which means love your fate, not just accept it. Love it. Love the challenges. Love the unexpected twists. Love the experiences that force you to grow, even when they feel uncomfortable. Mentally strong people lean into discomfort. They don't wait for perfect conditions to take action. They don't waste time wishing things would go back to the way they were. Instead, they adjust, adapt, and move forward. And because of that, they stay steady no matter how unpredictable life becomes. So next time life throws a curveball, pause. Instead of reacting with fear, ask yourself, how can I use this? Because once you stop resisting change, you start mastering it. And that's a skill that will carry you through anything. We've all been there, moments when anger, frustration, or fear got the best of us. Maybe it led to an argument you later regretted, or made you hesitate when you should have taken action. Emotions are powerful, and when unchecked, they can shape our decisions and even our future. But here's the key. Mentally strong people don't let emotions dictate their choices. They don't suppress their feelings, but they do learn to manage their reactions. Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about mastering your response. Marcus Aurelius put it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about the last time someone irritated you. Maybe a rude comment, an unfair criticism, or even someone cutting you off in traffic. What was your first instinct? Most people react instantly, lashing out in frustration. But what if instead you pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this matter tomorrow? That small pause, that moment of awareness, is the difference between being controlled by emotions and mastering them. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, advised that when anger rises, we should step back and give it time to settle before acting. Why? Because in the heat of the moment, we often make decisions we later regret. And isn't that true? How many times have you said or done something in an emotional state, only to wish later that you had handled it differently? The truth is, emotions are like waves. They rise and fall. But just because you feel something intensely doesn't mean you have to act on it. The strongest people are those who learn to observe their emotions without being ruled by them. And that's just the beginning. The next habit we'll discuss is just as crucial, one that will give you the discipline to push through life's hardest moments. Stay with me, because mastering these principles will change the way you handle everything. Mastering your emotions and protecting your energy. Life is full of ups and downs, and we can't always control what comes our way. But just as a skilled driver adapts to changing road conditions instead of trying to control the traffic, we must learn to work with our emotions rather than fight against them. Strong individuals don't let emotions dictate their actions. They acknowledge them, learn from them, and decide how to move forward. This doesn't mean ignoring how we feel. On the contrary, true strength comes from understanding our emotions and using them wisely. Instead of resisting fear, ask yourself, what is this fear teaching me? Instead of letting frustration take over, consider, what can I learn from this? Emotions, when viewed as guides rather than obstacles, can provide powerful insight. Here's where it becomes life-changing. Once you realize that you are in control of your response, nothing can shake you. Criticism loses its power over you. Setbacks become opportunities for growth, and unexpected changes no longer throw you off course. Your strength is not in avoiding emotions, but in choosing how to respond to them. So next time you feel anger, anxiety, or disappointment creeping in, take a step back, breathe, remind yourself that emotions don't define you. Your actions do. The better you manage your emotional state, the stronger and more resilient you become in all areas of life. Time and energy are your most valuable assets, yet they are often the easiest to lose. Every day, demand from work, friends, family, and social obligations pull you in different directions. Before you realize it, you're running on empty, stretched thin, and unable to focus on what truly matters. The strongest individuals don't let others dictate how they spend their energy. They establish clear boundaries and guard their personal space as if their well-being depends on it. Because it does. Ancient philosophers understood this well. They knew that real wealth isn't found in material things, but in inner peace. Yet, so many people give away their time carelessly, treating it as if it were unlimited. Think about it. If someone tried to take money from your wallet, you'd resist. But when people take your time, whether through unnecessary obligations, toxic relationships, or distractions, you often get away without a second thought. Why? Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's fear of letting others down. Maybe it's a habit of always prioritizing others over yourself. But here's the reality. Constantly saying yes to others means saying no to yourself. And people who are mentally strong don't allow that to happen. They recognize that without strong boundaries, they won't have the time or energy to focus on their health goals and personal growth. Understand that boundaries are necessary, not selfish. Saying no to things that drain you doesn't mean you don't care. It means you respect yourself enough to prioritize your well-being. You wouldn't allow someone to walk into your home and create chaos. So why let them do the same to your mental space? Realize that the right people will respect your boundaries. Those who don't, they were never meant to have full access to you in the first place. The people and energy you allow into your life shape who you become. If you surround yourself with unnecessary stress and distractions, don't be surprised if you feel overwhelmed and drained. Get clear on what matters most. Identify your priorities. What fuels you? What aligns with your values? Once you know this, it becomes much easier to say no to things that don't serve you. Practice saying no with confidence. You don't need to justify protecting your time. A simple, I can't commit to that right now, is enough. The less you over-explain, the more others will respect your boundaries. Let go of guilt. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's essential. If you don't prioritize your energy, no one else will do it for you. At the end of the day, boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about ensuring that you have the energy for what truly matters. Protect your time, guard your peace, and watch how your life transforms. When you stop bending to every demand and start prioritizing yourself, something remarkable happens. You feel lighter, more focused, and truly in control of your own life. And that, my friend, is the bedrock of real mental strength. Strength isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and learning from them. No more blaming circumstances or waiting for someone else to change your life. The power is in your hands. True resilience isn't built through self-criticism, but through self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same understanding and patience you'd offer a close friend. Growth flourishes in an environment of encouragement, not self-punishment. There's no final destination when it comes to self-improvement. The moment you believe you've learned everything, you start to decline. Life is constantly shifting, and those who refuse to adapt will find themselves stuck while the world moves forward. But mentally strong individuals recognize a key truth. Growth is a lifelong journey. You never truly arrive. You keep refining, expanding, and learning until your very last breath. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man of his time, never considered himself beyond learning. He read, wrote, and reflected daily, always seeking to improve. He once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way." In other words, every challenge, failure, and setback is an opportunity to grow, if you're willing to learn from it. Many people assume that learning ends when school does, or when they reach a certain level of success. But in reality, your ability to keep evolving determines how far you go. The second you stop pushing yourself, seeking knowledge, or stepping outside your comfort zone, stagnation sets in. And for a strong mind, stagnation is worse than failure, because at least failure teaches. Staying in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing is changing, is far worse. No matter how much you know, there's always more to discover. Seneca believed wisdom wasn't about having all the answers, but about continuously seeking them. He wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." That means reading, engaging in deep conversations, and developing new skills, not because you must, but because growth itself is a reward. People who fear looking foolish, making mistakes, or facing the unknown rob themselves of the experiences that teach the most. Every misstep, every struggle is an opportunity to gain wisdom, if you choose to see it that way. Failure isn't the end. It's a lesson. Growth doesn't happen in repetition. It happens in discomfort. It happens in the moments when you don't have all the answers, when you take on something unfamiliar, when you challenge yourself. The Stoics believed in seeking difficult experiences, not for the sake of suffering, but because struggle leads to strength. Epictetus taught that we should train our minds the way athletes train their bodies, with discipline, challenge, and consistent improvement. One of the biggest obstacles to growth is thinking you already know enough. The wisest people never assume they figured it all out. They ask questions, listen more than they speak, and remain open to new perspectives, even those that challenge their current beliefs. That's why truly strong individuals, mentally, emotionally, and intellectually, never stop growing. The world is constantly changing. Industries shift. People evolve. Those who refuse to grow get left behind. But those who commit to lifelong learning, embrace challenges, and remain curious will continue to expand no matter what life throws at them. Life isn't about avoiding obstacles. It's about becoming strong enough to overcome anything. The principles we discussed today aren't just ideas. They're tools. Tools to help you master your emotions, navigate adversity, and develop a mindset that nothing can break. But knowledge alone isn't enough. You have to apply it every single day. Am I embracing change or resisting it? Am I in control of my emotions or letting them control me? Am I protecting my time, taking responsibility, practicing self-compassion, and continuing to learn?